Welcome to Northwest Profiles, a look at people, places, and events of interest in the inland Northwest.
Summer. It's a season filled with activities ranging from catching the limit to catching a tan or just building castles in the sand. 'Tis the season for vacations, time at the lake, or even a romantic clam bake. Yet for millions of Americans, the one activity that still remains synonymous with summer is baseball. Throughout the years, baseball, wherever played, has produced legions of local and national legends. One such baseball legend here in the inland Northwest is Herb Hunter. No, he didn't play, coach, or even umpire. Yet what Herb did was in some cases heard round the world. For he was the voice of the Spokane Indians, the city's professional baseball team, from 1958 to 1971. Herb's career started back in 1938 in Duluth, Minnesota. From there, he went on to broadcast baseball games for 35 years, during which he saw the game, and certainly the profession of baseball announcing, go through many changes.
Baseball announcing back in the 20s, I remember listening to Graham McNamee on the World Series in 1925. I believe it was Washington and Pittsburgh. And the speaker I was listening to the ball game through or from was one of those old RCA big things, more static than voice. And then getting into the 30s, it became popular. Graham McNamee popularized it. Franz Laux of St. Louis and Tom Manning of Cleveland, a beautiful voice, and Harry Heilman of Detroit and so forth, all down the line. And they had their number 2 announcers, they had the number 3 announcers, and you had an opportunity to work up. Where today, the announcer does not have that opportunity for the simple reason that the minute Don Drysdale or a Euchre or you name them, Sievers or whatever, Johnny Benches, the minute they leave the ball club or the playing field, they go to the broadcast booth. Where years ago, the announcer was strictly a radio man. And if he knew his baseball and worked into it, he could go on, and many of them did.
And move on Herb did, broadcasting nearly 7,000 baseball games in 5 different states over the course of his long career, including over 2,100 games as the voice of the Spokane Indians in the Pacific Coast League. For many who grew up in the inland Northwest, the rich, exuberant voice of Herb Hunter signaled the start of summer and another exciting season of AAA baseball.
The weather is ideal for baseball this afternoon. Spokane occupying the first base dugout, Seattle over behind third. So there's one man down here in the top of the first inning. The Spokane Indians and the Seattle Angels coming to you from Sick Stadium in Seattle, Washington.
Throughout Herb's 14-year affiliation with Spokane, the Indians were the top farm team of the Los Angeles Dodgers, which meant some great baseball from some outstanding talent.
The second out. So there are 2 down.
While players and coaches were making names for themselves on the field, Herb Hunter was doing the same in the radio booth. During the baseball season, Herb would broadcast all the Indians' games home and away. All the home games were broadcast live from the ballpark, while the away games, unlike today, were all recreated in Spokane at the local radio station. For Herb, recreation was the most enjoyable part of his job because to him, it was an art.
Simpson in center field, Kirkpatrick in right field.
Recreation, as I always pictured it, and I've done them for years, is similar to an artist with a paintbrush. The artist with the paintbrush has the easel and has the canvas, where the recreator is painting a different picture in as much as he's painting it for the listener. He doesn't have television, all he has is the radio. So he is painting a picture for that listener's mind, where the ball is hit, the distances to the walls, the dugouts, the weather conditions, everything pertaining to a baseball game. The recreator tries to make a picture, a mental picture for that listener. I think then, too, with the art form, is you have your little bat, and I used to carry a little leather pouch for a catcher's mitt, and I had a crowd noise that was on a constant reel, and we had to change a few times. We had one that had peanuts every 5 seconds. This vendor was sold so many peanuts, so we had to change that.
All these elements were very important. However, the most important element in recreation was the announcer and his vivid use of his imagination and the English language to describe the scene. That is what made Herb Hunter a baseball legend in the inland Northwest.
The recreator actually had 5% information and 95% imagination. And if he can imagine what was going on the playing field, he could paint a picture, as I said. And I could close my eyes and I could see Barberry going down to first, and if he was going to stretch it to a double, he makes his turn, he's digging for second base, so-and-so comes up with the ball, fires into second base, a little bit late, he's safe at second. And you can imagine those things.
Today at 71, Herb Hunter is retired. Yet neither his love for the game nor his stature as a baseball legend have diminished.
Today I love it as much as I did when I was just a youngster, hoping that I could go to some sort of an organization and play, which never came about. But I want to be remembered as just plain old Herb to the kids as well as the adults, and the voice of the Indians.
If you have a topic for Northwest Profiles, send it to KSPS TV, South 3911 Regal, Spokane, Washington 99223. Northwest Profiles is a presentation of KSPS TV.